it feels like this experience, okay, I'm going to cry, but it feels like this experience is that you won't be able to survive it, but you can. And many of us have. And, don't go through it alone. You can play an active role in your own survival by developing some kind of toolbox. I'm not talking about going out and, learning how to, play an instrument on a virtuoso level or something. I'm talking about getting dressed, going from the bed to the television set. If you need to watch trashy TV, whatever, but do something, take a shower, do something to make yourself feel better. Reach out to somebody, form benzo buddies. You can survive this. And when you're on the other side of it, you will get your life back.
Plus some,
right? Because everything is like Technicolor. Like your life is so much better because of what you went through. Mm-hmm. And you appreciate the simple things, everything. You appreciate everything so much more.
If we look at the opioid epidemic, you look at other examples of harm, there's a better day. And that's where we're at today. Yesterday has been difficult. Yesterday in the rivers and lakes that we were in, we've known those waters. The future might seem turbulent. The seas might be dangerous. But when we come together and work together, I believe that we can do better for everyone, for our communities, our states, our countries, and for all those who served in uniform, for sure, because there's a lot of good people out there, and I've met a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And it's really cool to, while we've got the crazy stories that we've got, I'm glad to have them under my belt.
Yeah, me too.
To be able to help.
Hard-worn lived experience.
Yeah. Hard-worn. It was good. Yeah. So
I took my very last milla whatever of Klonopin 2 years ago, and I feel like a complete person. I feel like I can be engaged in the world. Some people take much longer. I totally get that. But all I'm saying is that here I am 2 years later, not that I still don't have flare-ups of this like irritability or the incredible sensitivity, but I feel like I feel like a good person, and I can engage in the world. And what more can I say about than that? And would I wish that I hadn't gone through this? I mean, but I can't change that. I can only change, how I think about this at this moment. Mm-hmm. With policy, I think that it's very promising that FDA has put out these boxed warnings. I think it's very promising that there are healthcare systems that put these stops so that a provider can't just put in the electronic system 90 days of medication. They can only put in 14 days. Well, that's a kind of there are things that are happening, and there's a lot of people that are more and more committed. And I would just say for folks that are tapering, if you have a minute of energy, write your legislator. I can send you an example letter to send, or whatever you can do, try to find a moment to kind of lift yourself up. But believe me, I totally get when those moments are just invisible.
Yeah. So any hope for like what's coming down the pipe policy wise, FDA, the Alliance, SAMHSA? Can you talk about that really quick before we go?
Well, all I know is that there's a lot of people that are now working on this. There's a lot more attention, more people understand, fewer and fewer of, more of the younger doctors, as we've talked about, are being much more cautious. And I think that there's enough moving parts now that between what the Alliance is doing and other advocacy groups and the mental health and behavioral health groups, that we're going to see some change. Is it going to be fast enough? I don't know, but I'm optimistic, and I think you are doing an amazing job with these conversations, with the work you do, and it takes all of us to make this, solving this. Yeah. So thank you.
what hope do you have for people in the audience?
Tons.
Because listen, we've said a lot of scary words.
We have.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
I know that we're both protracted and we're probably scaring you guys. I work full time. I travel full time. I hike. I drink coffee. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I promise you.
First use us as examples.
Yes.
We both would say right now, life is good.
Life is great.
Yeah. Life is great. So that tells you something. And we both still have some lingering things. Lingering things that are still affecting our lives. And yet we're having a great time in life. That happens. I would actually say hope is essential. I mean, you have to have that throughout it. The thing is that think about right now, like what's different than when we started going through it.
Oh man.
The support systems, what the research we've already done, all the stuff we know now that we didn't know before. And that's only going to keep increasing. We're learning stuff every week, every month about what this is and what the effects are. And I think it's just going to be amazing what we can do. And that most people, probably as much as half the people, don't even have any complications at all. Those that do usually only have them for months, a few months afterwards. Those who have it for longer than say 6 months or a year are like 10%, and as you keep going on, that goes down and down. The odds that you are somebody like myself at 8.5 years still with some symptoms are extremely rare, extremely low. And also think about the things I did wrong. I did a lot of things wrong, and you can learn from me. You can learn from Angela. You can learn from so many people. Don't cold turkey. That's my lesson. But there's so much support. There's so many support groups now. There's so many coaches starting up. Things that we didn't even have. We just had the Ashton Manual. That was pretty much it. It was the Ashton Manual, Benzo Buddies, and the Ashton Manual. That's all that was there. And now we have, Geraldine came on with her podcast, and we have all these other people that have come there, pioneered, and Baylissa started doing work, and, Jennifer Lee started doing work, and all these people started pioneer all the work. And then, BIC was founded and the Alliance was founded, and there's so much more out there right now. So a lot of the hope comes from the support. There's movies,
there's As Prescribed, Xanax, Take Your Pills, which I'm not a fan of, but and Medicaid Normal. There's podcasts all over the world.
It's amazing the support. And I know there's still a lot of horrible things. A lot of doctors still prescribing things like crazy, not telling people to come off them cold turkey. And we're trying to fix that, and we're making some progress. But I would say, as far as hope goes, this is a trial by fire. Okay, it's a trial by fire. It is hard. I'm not gonna, for those who get extreme withdrawal, severe withdrawal, or bind, it's hard. It is a very hard thing, but those are also opportunities. And if you look at it as an opportunity to, look inside yourself, see who you are, what you're made of, talk to people, get support, meet new friends, form new friends. This is a great way to form people who you can go through things. It's like always go back to the veteran thing. It's like your buddies from the military. Some of those friendships you can't build elsewhere. And you go through hardship with somebody, you build. There's so many positives that can come out of this. It's a horrible thing, but it's so many positives. And if you can start to focus on those and see what you can do and get help and help people, come through it, you can get through this. These symptoms, there is nothing we have seen yet that has said this is permanent. Not one thing. No scientific evidence, nothing. People have healed after 10 years of this, and most heal in a much shorter time. So there's nothing we have seen that says it's permanent. It's just, you got to do the best you can to try to take this opportunity and, learn some skills, learn some anxiety tools, learn some management things that can help to reduce your symptomatology, and you can get through this.
You will.
So many thousands and thousands of people have gotten through this.
You will get through it. I love that. What a great way to end.
Any decrease is an improvement. And I have seen people who had an abnormal cognitive screening normalize as we got them on less benzodiazepine. So I have a lot of stories of hope of people feeling so much better just as they get down, not even that they have to be completely off. So don't underestimate, and look for the support and the reinforcement. Through the Colorado Consortium, we've developed a peer support curriculum that we're starting to train people in to help with that. So look for those supports, because I think that's such an important part of surviving in this world and feeling like you can manage.
Everybody they still talk to from my original support group from 2 years ago, everybody's doing better. Some of us have, had babies, gotten married, are getting married, went back to work, went back to live on their own, because most of us, I think all of us, were either living with our kids, our parents, because we just couldn't be alone. We had the monophobia. So everybody has improved. Some people have recovered, some have just improved, but everybody is better than they were. So that's, and you never know when things can change, like no matter how severe things are. I've seen people spontaneously recover. I've seen people slowly recover. I've seen the windows and waves recovery. But it just seems like if you can just hold on and do what you can to survive and, nurture and take the best care of yourself possible, you will get better.
That's it.
I've seen it so many times in the
I
years
see
that
it
I've been in this.
daily. I
Yeah,
just watch
you would see it even
daily.
more.
I do. I mean, people, like I say, people that started with me a year and a half ago, they're like on cruises, they're going shopping,
I
they're
know.
like driving, getting their hair done. They'll come on the screen and I'll be like, who are you?
I
You
know.
look like a totally different person. Who's this lady? I haven't seen you in 6 months,
It's actually one of the most amazing things to witness.
It's my favorite. That's why I do
Yeah,
it.
right.
I get to
Absolutely.
watch you guys heal. It's like a sacred honor and blessing to me,
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And I'd done all the wrong things, and I was like, well, there's no hope for me. But the only decision I have is to keep going and to see and to be like, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And I would go online. I would watch your videos. I would watch In a Compass. Like, I loved watching the videos when I was feeling bad, because it just made me feel like I wasn't alone. Right. And I was being validated. I think being validated is so healing.
It's huge.
Like, the worst thing is, isn't it? People not believing you. It's like so horrible. Like, I feel like that is damage in itself.
Yes.
And so, like, for me, it was the online community. Like, I would just be on my laptop and I'd feel like I was having a stroke, but I would just sit there and I would watch the videos, and that's how I got through those moments. And still to this day, like, any moment I taper and I'm feeling weird, I will go on the online community or speak to people like you, like friends who you make in this.
Yeah.
Those have been like,
I did the same thing. I would lay in the bathtub and listen to Bob Whitaker and Peter Gertcha and like Joanna Moncrief in my bathtub. Like, they believe me, they understand,
Right.
It's like water, life water to get through this,
Yeah. And you don't know the whole time. You're like, I don't know. But then I can safely say right now, I'm still on the 3 meds. I've been tapering them slowly, but my body as it is now is like, I don't have any weird sensations. And through doing that slow taper and changing my diet and just a few things that I did, I mean, God knows, I pray every, I do pray. I'm like, thank you.
Please.
And I'm still not off them. So it's like, still, I'm like, this could go, I don't know, but just slowly and just with trust.
And you're kind of coexisting with the fear. It's going to be there, but I got to do this. Like, what else can I do? It's kind of the thing you said so many good things. I could pull on so many things right there, but the uncertainty, like, we don't know. And when we don't know, our brain is going to imagine every worst case scenario. It's going to grab the worst stories and say, that's going to be me. It's going to torture you with that. That's just the nature of the withdrawal brain. Like, it just spins out of control. And it's almost like, it sounds gaslighty, but it's like, I could not believe my own thoughts or my own beliefs. I could not trust it. The only thing I could trust was like, I know that other people have healed from this. I don't even believe in healing myself. I believed Baylissa. Baylissa was the one that was saying, everybody heals. If you don't have to believe it. So I was like, okay, I don't believe it, but Baylissa believes it. So maybe I just need to believe Baylissa. That was it. It was a crumb to get me through, and then, like you said, I'm angry. Like, I got to get through this, because if I die, they're going to say I'm just some crazy vet or I'm mentally ill. And that's not what's happening. That is not. So I'm like, I'm going to stay alive, despite the other night we had a tapering support group. And we all cried at the end, because there's one person that was really close to the bottom of their taper. And I said, do you understand what you have done? You have gone against what everybody thought about you. You've taken a chance where nobody had walked. You have no support. Your doctors don't believe you, and you are doing it. Like, do you understand how big of a deal this is? You saved your own life.
The biggest thing for me, and this is what my wife has preached to me, is looking back at where I started. And when I do look back, because even though I say I'm, 55% healed, close to 60, when you think of it, you still can't do the things you want to do. And I will sometimes fall in that trap of I'm not where, but my wife will, and I'll look back daylight and dark over the past 6 months. It has been a 180 change. I'm not healed, but I've healed. And so I tell myself, if you've come this far in 6 months, think about the next 6 months and the next 6 months after that. You know, and everybody's timeline is different, but just going off what I've experienced, you do heal. You will heal. You don't feel like you're going to. I've told myself so many times, that's it, you're done, it's over, you're not gonna, you know, but when you get through and you start coming through this and you look back, you can see where you've healed, and you will definitely heal. And there's hope, and you know, it's just holding on to that hope and knowing, okay, I've come this far, imagine where I'm going to be at, you know, twice this length of time, or you know, triple this length of time. So you know, I've been able to enjoy my daughters more. I've been able to do things that, you know, 6 months ago I couldn't even think about doing, not even wanting to do those things, let alone actually doing them. So there's definitely healing. You will definitely heal.
Amazing.
Oh, every day. I mean, I think it's one of the most gratifying parts of this thing that I do, and you do it too, so you see it. To see somebody go through what has become a pretty easily definable process, which starts with like, I'm worse than everybody else. I have no hope. You don't know what you're talking about. And I don't need to be right, by the way. It's not about my message, it's about this way to go about it. To like, well, I've tried everything else, so let me at least consider this. To like, okay, I get it, but this is way too scary. You don't understand. It feels real. It feels dangerous. I'm not capable of that. And then down the road, coming back into the community and saying, oh my goodness, I actually did the things. And when you see people the first time, like your boat experience, I didn't run and I got through it and I was okay. Like, and they feel like superheroes. It happens every day. I have the privilege of seeing that every single day. I've done a bunch of success stories on the podcast if you want to check them out.
Yep.
Every once in a while I have somebody on who came through. But everybody who was there either went through withdrawal or they went through periods where they felt, I am incapable of getting better. This is never going to get better. And then they did. So if you're in a dark place, it doesn't mean you'll be there forever.
Love it. That's it. That's why I do this too, because I get to watch people's healing. And it can be simple little things like Angie, like a year and a half ago, I'm thinking of a couple people, they're not leaving their house. And now they're going on a cruise ship or on vacation with their husband.
Amazing, right?
I see it all the time. I get to watch it. It's awesome.
It's always great. But you know, it's even cool. And there's that. Those are the huge successes, of course, over the long term. But sometimes it's as simple as, guys, I ate some walnuts today. And we all know how hard and scary that was, but that's a huge win for that person. And those add up.
I mean, it's there, whether you feel it or not. It's there. It's like I talked about being held under the water. Like, and if you can't feel it, that's fine. And just survive those times and get through them, because it's still there, even when you don't feel it. You will get through it, even when every cell of your body is telling you will not. So please keep going. Please, like, you owe it. What I keep telling people lately is you owe it to yourself to see the other side of this. You deserve, with what you're going through and what you've been through in this, you deserve to get to the other side and see the rewards. So please keep going and live to see that.